Crawford throwing his hat in to want to fight Canelo at 168.
I mean, everybody wants to fight Canelo. It's a money fight. You know what I mean? I think even Inoue would come up to fight Canelo. Canelo wanted to fight him. I mean, I don't want to see Crawford to fight Canelo.
Fight Canelo. Be honest with you, David Benavidez has had his eyes on a fight with Canelo for a long time, but now he's shared his thoughts on what could happen if Canelo ends up fighting Terence Crawford instead. Benavidez isn't shy about praising Crawford for being one of the best fighters ever, but he believes Canelo has the upper hand if this super fight becomes a reality, and not just that, he actually believes Crawford stands no chance with even a huge possibility of him being.
Even a fight with you and Terence Crawford, it would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We're not talking about yet about the fight. Me and we're gonna know each other, and then we wanna.
Canelo and Crawford are two of the biggest names in boxing today. Both are pound-for-pound stars who've dominated their divisions. Canelo has been an undisputed champion at super middleweight and has also held belts at middleweight and light heavyweight with over 50 fights and only 2 losses, one to Floyd Mayweather early in his career, and another in 2022 against Dimitri Bivol at light heavyweight. Canelo's resume speaks for itself. His strength, skill, and experience make him one of the most dangerous fighters out there.
David Benavidez said he want to fight Terence Crawford and get back for his brother. Terence Crawford ain't trying to do that shit. And this is the conundrum, right? A lot of people say, well, Terence Crawford wants to fight Canelo Alvarez to prove he's...
Crawford is a fighter who has never tasted defeat. He's been undisputed at lightweight and welterweight, and after defeating Errol Spence Jr. in 2023, he solidified himself as one of the greatest of his era. Crawford made a successful debut at 154 PBS in August 2024. By taking the WBA light middleweight title from Israel Madrimov. It was another historic moment for him as he became a champion in 4 different weight classes. But while Crawford's achievements are incredible, Benavidez is skeptical about how well his skills would hold up against a bigger, more experienced fighter like...
I mean, I can't really say nothing about that. If that's what he wants to do, then that's what he's going to do. Canelo is a man that he does anything he wants to do. I don't think really what people say affects him. But I feel like the people that want to see David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez is the biggest fight to make happen. And I feel like I'm the biggest threat.
Benavidez didn't hold back when discussing the potential matchup. He admitted that Crawford is a technical genius in the ring, but he pointed out that moving up too many weight classes can be risky even for someone as talented as Crawford. Crawford is one of the best technical fighters I've ever seen, Benavidez said, but when he went to 154, I'm not saying he had problems, but he didn't look like he had the power he had at 147. Now imagine moving up to 168. That's a huge jump, and weight classes exist for a reason. I'd give Canelo the edge in this.
Crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not do that.
The weight difference is the biggest challenge here. Canelo is naturally the bigger man, and he's proven that he can handle himself against bigger opponents even at light heavyweight. Crawford, however, is relatively new to fighting at higher weights. While his win at 154 pounds was impressive, it's a big leap to go from 154 to 168, especially against someone like Canelo, who has been fighting at super middleweight for years. Benavidez is convinced that the size, power, and experience Canelo brings to the table would be too much for Crawford to handle.
A lot of boxers don't do this. This is why Canelo's not fighting Benavidez. Why would Canelo fight Benavidez, who's relatively unknown, and Benavidez beats him, and Benavidez becomes overnight a superstar? That's Canelo's letting Benavidez make a name off of him. So you're saying,
if Crawford were to fight Canelo at 168, it would be his first fight at that weight. Benavidez explained that's a lot to take on, especially when you're up against someone like Canelo who knows how to dominate that division. Canelo's been fighting bigger guys and he's used to the power and speed at that weight. Crawford might be the best at 147 and even at 154, but 68 is a different story. Canelo's track record at 168 is hard to ignore. He's been the king of the super middleweight division, and he's shown time and time again why he's considered one of the best in the sport. His most recent fight in September against Edgar Bunga Jr. was another show of his dominance. He defended his titles with ease, winning on points in front of a packed crowd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Canelo's combination of power, precision, and ring IQ makes him a nightmare for anyone who steps into the...
Hey, listen,
Crawford fans, I've been trying to say this, dog. Canelo at 168 is all wrong for Crawford, dog.
Dog Benavidez is also confident that Canelo's experience would play a huge role in this fight. Canelo has been in the ring with so many great fighters, he knows how to handle different styles and he knows how to adapt. Benavidez said Crawford might be great, but he hasn't fought anyone like Canelo. The experience gap would be huge, and I think that would make a big difference. One thing Benavidez emphasized is that Crawford's power might not translate well to the higher weight class. At 147, Crawford was known for his ability to finish fights, but at 154 his power didn't seem as effective. Moving up to 168 would only make it harder for him to hurt a fighter like Canelo, who has faced and beaten some of the hardest hitters in boxing. Canelo can take a punch. Benavidez said he's fought guys who hit a lot harder than Crawford, and he's handled it. Crawford would have to fight the perfect fight to even have a chance.
If Bill will fight, you can say who you think's gonna win. You can't say like, oh man, I'm surprised that Bill won, or I'm surprised that Better Be have won. You're like, man, that's a damn good fight. So and so won. So kind of how I feel about the David and Canelo fight. Like,
the possibility of Canelo knocking Crawford out is something Benavidez isn't shy about mentioning. He believes that if Crawford can't keep Canelo off him, it's only a matter of time before the Mexican superstar lands a big shot that ends the fight. Canelo's power is real. Benavidez said if he catches Crawford clean, it could be over. I'm not saying Crawford isn't tough, but Canelo is on another level when it comes to power and finishing ability. I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo puts Crawford to sleep. The idea of Canelo knocking out Crawford might seem far-fetched to some, but it's a scenario that can't be ruled out. Canelo has proven time and again that he has the ability to end fights with a single punch.
Canelo's gonna put the beats on him like Dr. Dre.
Do we get a knockdown from Canelo, or does Bud knock down Canelo?
Nah, Canelo's not going down. You could hit Canelo with a Louisville slugger, he's just gonna smile at you.
He said he's gonna beat him like the beats of doctors.
His body shots are brutal and his hooks are devastating. If Crawford can't find a way to deal with Canelo's power, it could be a long night or a very short one for the undefeated American. While the fight isn't confirmed yet, rumors continue to swirl about a potential showdown in 200 and 225. Both fighters seem interested in making it happen, and fans are eager to see two of the best in the sport go head-to-head. But as Benavidez pointed out, the weight difference could be the deciding factor. It's not just about skill. Benavidez said it's about size, power, and experience. Canelo has all of that on his side. Crawford might be great, but this is a whole different challenge.
In boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that favor Canelo is that, you know, his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do weight.
Saying in the end, Benz's prediction is clear. Canelo would come out on top if the fight happens. The weight, the power, and the experience all favor the Mexican superstar. For Crawford, it would be the ultimate test, a chance to prove that he can compete with the best, no matter the weight class. But as Canelo himself said, weight classes exist for a reason. Deontay Wilder's take on Terence Crawford moving up to fight Canelo Alvarez carries the weight of experience from someone who has witnessed